And welcome to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN, coming at you from the lovely home of Beasley Broadcasting here on Durango in Las Vegas. It's starting to break a little bit. Our clouds are parting. The sun is starting to come out, and thank goodness we've got a window in studio here. It's just a beautiful thing. And in studio with us, Michael Schulman, staying over from Live Las Vegas, as well as Asia from Troop 41 of the Girl Scouts. And I believe online with us is still Michael Mack, who we'll go back to in a minute. Now, Asia, we talked to you a little bit at the end of Live Las Vegas about what you're doing with Max Pawn. But in case folks are just tuning in right now, why don't you tell them again what you're doing with Girl Scout Troop 41, Girl Scout cookies, and the world-famous Max Pawn?
Well, Max Pawn is having a promotion where if you buy $20 worth of merchandise, you get one free box of Girl Scout cookies.
And that's a fantastic promotion and a very smart business owner in Michael Mack, knowing what it is that people like the most. Now, I know that lots of folks have their own favorite kinds of Girl Scout cookies, and I want to hear yours on Pawn Talk Live. All you have to do is pick up the phone, tell us at 257-5396, and I might be able to score a box of Girl Scout cookies courtesy of the world-famous Max Pawn. So our third caller at 257-5396 going to get a free box of Girl Scout cookies courtesy of Max Pawn. Now, Michael, let me ask you, Michael Schulman.
What is my favorite?
What is your favorite?
Oh, Thin Mints.
Okay, no question about it. Asia, what about you? What's your favorite?
Peanut butter patties.
Oh, those are delicious, too. And do we have Michael Mack back online with
us?
us?
Delight.
Okay, you know what? Those are fantastic. I have to go and really break the tie here with Thin Mints, because when you put
kept in the freezer,
absolutely, you put the Thin Mints into the freezer, and let me tell you, there's nothing more satisfying at about 12 a.m. than a really crisp and cold Thin Mint. If I wasn't lactose intolerant, I'd dump it in some milk and eat it all up. It would be great.
You know, there's a way to make the grown-up Thin Mints, which is to take a food syringe and take not Goldschlager, Rumpelmans.
Oh, really?
And insert it in there.
Well, way to pass on the message to the youth here at the Meadows School. So just in case anybody's wondering what's become of your Thin Mints at the Meadows, now you know Michael Schulman. Follow him at SchulmanSays.com. Now, Michael Mack, again, we have you with us. You're calling us from Detroit. You're back there doing the big thaw with Seth, Les, and Ashley. And, of course, you're going to be helping them out. We're going to see some of that on television. But you're here for our listeners. So anybody that's listening to Pawn Talk Live has a question about something maybe they found in their attic. Maybe it was something that was left over in the garage, or a piece of gold. Maybe it was a piece of art or an heirloom that's been left to you, and you want to know what that's worth. Give us a buzz right here at 257-5396, 257-KDWN. We've got Michael Mack, and it looks like we've got Seth Gold online with us as well. And Seth, another expert in the fold. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm doing very well, very well. How are you guys?
Well, we're fantastic. You know, we kind of miss Michael in studio with us. Not the same, not having him here, but we understand that he's back there with you, maybe teaching you guys a little something that you don't do in store. Can you share any of that with our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. We brought Michael out, obviously, to experience what we do around here with this annual SAW event. But more importantly, I picked up another loan processor, which I'm not letting him back to go.
That's it, huh?
I'll tell you what, Dave. I was behind the counter there for a good half hour. I must have processed 10, 20 customers, and I was starting to get the hang of it. Les loved me because, the cost was just phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely.
I was like 10 cents a transaction. He was looking at it. It's like, I've never seen anything. But you got to shop. He was talking about fur coats on the previous show. You got to shop PawnDetroit.com. They have a fur selection like no one's ever seen before. I mean, Neiman Marcus has nothing on this place.
Michael, I'm looking for raccoon and lynx.
Raccoon and lynx. Well, Seth and I will go out on the floor, but I'm having a blast down here, But most important, I'm here for the thaw event. It's a heat and warmth fund, helping neighbors in need here in the Detroit area. And Seth, this is your second year doing this event?
Yeah, it's our second year doing this event. I've teamed up with them the past 3 years doing an event here called Ponies for a Cause. And they're such a great organization. I mean, Michael, you see the lines here. We deal with a lot of customers on a daily basis, and we're giving back to the community by teaming up with the SAW organization and basically heating up the customers' homes that can't afford the energy bill. So,
is there a website for Thaw if people want to donate or?
Yes. Yeah, you can link. There's a link from our website.
ThawFund.org.
All right, we're going to need one voice there, guys. I got you all confused. I couldn't hear. So, again, the website is what?
The Thaw Fund, THAWFUND.org.
Or can you go through it through the pawn shop's website?
You can go to pawndetroit.com and find it right there.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Well, hey Seth, we had your dad on here a little bit earlier, and we were obviously talking about fur coats and the fur coat that Joe Namath was wearing, and your dad said that he got the coat from you guys. Now, first of all, how happy were you about that? How disappointed were you in that failed coin toss attempt?
Well, it was so funny because immediately when we saw him wearing that, we put out a tweet that we said we couldn't confirm or deny whether he purchased the coat from us, and that got a lot of hits on social media. But it was funny. It's old Joe Namath. You got to just take him with a grain of salt, and he's always good for a laugh.
He was a ham before ham was kosher, and I mean, I was looking on Facebook, and people were like, "What a jack!" Well, whatever. That this guy's coming out in a fur coat, and I was like, "Gosh, that was his shtick." I mean, he was the Gillette guy. He wore the white fur coats. He shaved his legs in commercials. I mean, the guy was a ham. And
it was beautiful. I'll tell you what. How exciting is that? And like Seth said, the Twitter craze after that one was nuts. But I got to brag about my good friend Ashley, who left here a few minutes ago. Seth, this is unbelievable. She had 6 million eyeballs looking at her Facebook this morning. She put out a Facebook message. What was that all about?
Oh, thank God you added a message after she put out.
So, Seth, what was Ashley's Facebook post about?
Yeah, so I guess it was talking about short people, and she was happy the fact that she was short. I guess I don't even understand.
It was some short message, and I think it got to China somehow, and they just went nuts.
Oh God, that's awesome!
It went completely viral, and now she's throwing it in my face every 2 seconds. It's like, finally, you did something that worked. Congratulations!
I love siblings that work together.
Well, and see, Seth is not only a television star, quickly becoming an icon and a mogul. He's also the marketing director for the Pawn Store. So now, Seth, you've had to integrate a lot of different policies and procedures. Do you think Ashley's finally living up to your doctrine and doing good social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what? She does pay attention every once in a while, but now it's getting thrown back in my face like it always does.
Of course,
so it's all right.
Of course. Well, no good deed goes unpunished, and I think we know that very well here on Pawn Talk Live. Again, you're listening to us on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney, joined by Michael Mack and Seth Gold back in Detroit. Michael Schulman and Asia right here in studio. And again, the phone lines are open for our listeners. It might be kind of tough to get in right now, but keep the calls coming at 257-5396. Now, Michael, I've already offered up one of your boxes of Girl Scout cookies to the third caller here on Pawn Talk Live. And again, 257-5396 is the number. The third caller wins a free box of Girl Scout cookies. Now, Seth, when you hear something like this, now Michael's teamed up with Troop 41, and we've got Asia here in studio with us. Do you see that as a promotion that you might do back in Detroit? Get together with the Girl Scouts, do something like that. A purchase over gets you some Thin Mints.
Yeah, you know what? Any community-based organization or national-based organization, I think it's good for pawnbrokers to reach out to. It shows us that we're not typically what they see on TV, and we're out there in the community helping everybody. So it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
For every $1 million painting, get a box of Thin Mints.
That's right. Yes. Or for every time you can get my sister to quit, I'll give you Thin Mints and 20% off your purchase as per the billboard above our building. Now, Asia, when we're listening, to somebody like Seth, who's a TV star, has millions of people watch him, say he would even do something with Girl Scouts, and you guys at Troop 41, really looking to sell the most boxes of Girl Scout cookies every year. Does that give you a sense of pride? Do you feel grateful and glad to be part of the Girl Scouts of America?
Yes, I'm very happy about people reaching out and trying to support Girl Scouts like that.
And Asia, let me ask you, when Michael is giving away these boxes of cookies, he had to buy them from you guys, right, at the Girl Scouts. Where does the money go from the proceeds?
All the money stays here in Nevada, and it helps pay for Girl Scout programs to make us strong leaders. And sometimes we get to go on some fun trips if we sell a lot of Girl Scout cookies. Once we went to the FBI building and took a tour of them.
In Quantico, Virginia, or right here in Las Vegas?
Here in Las Vegas.
Oh, my goodness. I thought that is really a wonderful program the girls have. They're flying you around the country and taking you to the hot spots. But that is fantastic. And this year, obviously, working with the Pawn Store, you're going to be selling more cookies. What's your target goal number? Do you guys have a set goal number?
I don't think so, not as a troop, but each of us have individual goals.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we're going to be obviously talking to Asia a little bit more throughout the program, and I want to find out what she's looking forward to the most coming up in Girl Scouts. Guys, we've got to step aside, take a quick look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live. When we come back, more with Michael Mack, more with Michael Shulman, more with Asia. Stay tuned.
It's 2:15, and the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center got a couple of new accidents on the Beltway. 215 westbound, that's the eastern on-ramp affected there on the right side. Westbound 215 east of Windmill, that one's new. Rancho south of Bonanza, Decatur near the 215 interchange. Downtown 4th at Stewart, that's in the cleanup stage. Injury incidents, Flamingo and Nellis, and Bonanza at Las Vegas Boulevard, that's a hit and run. For the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
The slightly obsessive ASE certified mechanics at Ted Weens are now carefully mounting Goodyear Eagle tires on deserving cars and Goodyear Wrangler tires on some lucky trucks. In fact, Ted Weens, that place you see all over town, now carries the full line of world-class Goodyear car and truck tires. So if you live in Las Vegas and you want the quality and performance Goodyear tires are famous for, well, now you know where to go find them. Ted Weens, because we really do care. When it's go time, when it's time to put the pedal to the metal, NASCAR drivers and Baja 1000 drivers alike both trust the legendary performance and reliability of Goodyear tires. And now Vegas drivers can get that same performance and reliability on their own cars and trucks, because Ted Weens now carries the full line of world-class Goodyear tires. Goodyear Eagle tires, Goodyear Wrangler tires, all mounted by real ASE certified mechanics for when it's your go time, because Ted Weens really does care.
You hear a lot of talk about gold these days. What, with the stock market and more upheaval than tumbleweeds in a tornado? The world-famous Max Pawn is your gold spot in Las Vegas. Don't just send your gold into some random TV guy for pennies on the dollars. Go where you can see what your gold is really worth and get guaranteed market rate for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Come visit the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas at the northeast corner of Sahara and Jones or online at maxpawnlv.com.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney joined by Michael Shulman in studio. Asia from Troop 41 of the Girl Scouts of Las Vegas, and Michael Mack joining us from the Thaw event back in the D. And that, of course, is Detroit, hanging out with our friends, the Golds from True TV's Hardcore Pawn. And Michael, thank you for you being able to stay with us on the phone and do Pawn Talk Live. Again, if you have any questions for Michael or for Seth Gold, want to find out what your valuables are worth from two of the top experts in the industry, all you have to do is give us a call at 257-5396. That's 257-KDWN, and we'll be able to get you online with two of the fourth-generation experts in the pawn business. Now, Michael, coming back here into the show, we're talking about a whole bunch of different things this week, but one of the biggest events coming up is Valentine's Day. Obviously, this is something that men better not forget. Women don't have to worry about it at all because it's all our fault if we do. What is Max Pawn doing special this year for Valentine's Day?
Well, of course, we're working with Asia and Jade and Troop 41. We're giving a box of Girl Scout cookies away for every purchase over $20, and we're very excited. Thank you, Asia, for joining us, and I hope Jade gets better. I heard she couldn't make it today. But also, we're having our annual sale up to 70% off retail for all purchases for retail. So come on in. We have great savings. Now, we have items that would fit pretty much any Valentine budget and also pretty much everyone's needs, from handbags to sports memorabilia. I think we got it all covered.
And don't forget jewelry.
We got beautiful jewelry.
I mean, as my mother once said when asked what size ring she wears, she said, anything over 5.5 carats tends to fit just fine. And in regard to the Girl Scouts, I mean, I never feel more proud to be an American than when I'm wearing my Girl Scout uniform.
So, Michael, I love when you wear your Girl Scout uniform.
That's when I take my trip overseas. That's when I take my 6-week vacation.
That's when you go to Sochi?
Yes, exactly.
We are really excited. And, I just had Les walk in the office, Dave, and he wants us to give away to our next caller a signed autograph book, bestseller from New York.
Wow. For what it's worth, business advice from Les Gold?
Did Les come up with the title by himself?
He
Absolutely.
did. Of course, he's a genius. Just ask him.
Well,
Listen, I'll tell you what. One of the most interesting interviews I've ever done on Pawn Talk Live was about a year and a half ago when Seth Ashley came to town here, and it was right before Les had to launch the book, and you talk to a guy like Les and you dig through his years of expertise. The different things that he has seen come through his door, I mean, are unbelievable. And he had a great piece of advice for one of our callers that had a very interesting artifact, and that's what we do here on the show as well. So if you want to call us up, 257-5396. No pawn question is too big. No pawn question is too small. We have got fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack on with you to give you an answer. And, I guess, Seth, when you look at your father, he obviously spoke in very glowing terms about you being very proud of you being named the National Pawnbrokers Association Pawnbroker of the Year. Talk to us about how proud you are, though, of your father and what it is that he's done to really set you and your sister up for some amazing success here in life.
Oh, I get feedback all the time. You need to be nicer to your dad, and you need to listen to him a little bit more. And I always come back at like this when I have the ability to justify what I do. So I don't think that there's a smarter man in the world than my dad. And the reason why I question what he does is because I want to know his reasoning behind it. So it's not that I'm this wild gun just doing things my way, but I really push his buttons to see how he responds. And he's a teacher, and that's what you do to teachers. You question and ultimately understand why they think the way that they do. And so there's no smarter person that I know.
Excellent.
that's very sage advice.
Guys, what I have seen between the two guys and Ashley as well is I'm almost the generational gap right in between. Les is in his early 60s. I'm 50. Seth is quite a bit younger. And, being a pawnbroker that also has dealt with his family and the succession, it's difficult to work with the next generation because you think we're so much smarter. We think that we got it. We think that technology is with us, and what you've done in the past is old passé. But really, you start to feel it as you get older, that the wisdom that you've had, and my parents' wisdom, my great-grandparents' wisdom, that I'm starting to listen to and think about more and more as I get older, makes more and more sense. And Seth, I'm sure you're starting to figure that out as well. Some of those old traditions and old theories work well, a lot better than these computers.
Absolutely no question about it.
Well, Michael, let me ask you then, speaking of generational pawnbrokers, when do you think will be the day when your two sons declare you the smartest man that they know?
I'm definitely not there yet. I'm probably I think I'm either in second or third grade, according to both my boys right now.
Gotcha. Okay, well, again, you're listening to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney, Michael Mack back in Detroit, Seth Gold, star of True TV's Hardcore Pawn, Michael Schulman, and Asia from Girl Scout Troop number 41 joining us here in studio. Now, guys, we're talking about the big Valentine's Day sale again at Max Pawn, up to 70% off retail prices. Now, if you're just tuning in here to KDWN, you've never been down to Max Pawn before in your life, let me tell you what. It is unlike any pawn shop you have ever been into. This really isn't your typical pawn shop that you think of. This is more in line with a high-end secondhand retail store. So you find all the beautiful jewelry, all the best televisions, like Michael Schulman says. You got great fashion accessories, shoes, and furs. So don't be afraid to come down to 6040 West Sahara, northeast corner of Sahara and Jones, watches as well, and find that perfect Valentine's Day gift. Now, Michael, I've always scored really big with you at Max Pawn, but Seth, let me ask you, this year, what are you doing for Valentine's Day? Do you have a special plan in place here, or how are you tackling this year's Valentine's Day?
Well, we're starting with the event tomorrow for Thaw. So part of our proceeds from tomorrow's event goes to the Heat and Warm Fund. In addition to that, everything obviously is always at discount prices. Our silver is 50% off of our standard pricing, and we want to move products. So we anticipate a very successful Valentine's season, so we're just gearing up here.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, guys, Les has given me the golden key to American Jewelry and Loan. He told me that I could sell anything I want at any price I want.
Oh, really?
All those listeners out there that are in the Detroit area, come on down. I'm giving away the house.
Okay, so,
is that Seth hyperventilating?
I think it is. Now, there's a couple of really cool automobiles that you guys have been keeping back in storage, and of course, I watch the show every Tuesday at 9 o'clock on True TV. So, Michael, I'm going to text you offline here. I want you to put me a bid on one of those things. If they're going to take any offer, I've got it. Now, guys, let's bring Asia back into the fold here again, because we're talking talking about Max Pawn's big Valentine's Day special. Any purchase over $20 gets you an absolutely free box of Girl Scout cookies. You really can't beat that with a stick, and we hope that you don't beat that with a stick. Now, Asia, you obviously are sitting in for Jade today. Again, thank you for joining us. What are you looking forward to the most in Girl Scouts next? Obviously, you have a lot of big events that come up. You guys do a lot of work, but what are you most looking forward to coming up?
Well, in Girl Scouts, we have to do a silver award, which is, it's an award that we need to make sustainable. And, me and a few other Girl Scouts are doing, something called Oath. And Oath is an anti-bullying awareness campaign. And we want bystanders to be more proactive in a bullying scenario and to report bullying whenever they see it. Oath stands for One Act Today Heals, because if you act today, you can stop bullying.
Absolutely. You know, that is a fantastic initiative. And I'm going to, sound surprised. Did you guys come up with this all by yourselves?
Yes.
Is Oath something you came up with? Tell me, the days of school bullying for me are quite a bit behind. But, I obviously remember what it's like to be in a grade school, in middle school, in high school. How much have things changed, do you guys think, as 12, 13, 14-year-old young ladies, compared to what you might have seen in movies from the past? Do you think it's better today than it was before?
I think it has, because they've started to stand up more and realize that bullying is wrong, and they're not doing it as much anymore, but it still happens, and we want to get rid of bullying and just we want everyone to stand up whenever they see it.
What about cyberbullying? Tell us a little bit about this. Now, hopefully, parents, you have a tight control over your children's social media. That goes without saying. But, Asia, talk to me about cyberbullying, because this is really one of the things that I think that grown people don't always get a chance to see. Is this something you're tackling in Oath?
We're probably going to, and cyberbullying is kind of when you're being bullied, but it's online, so there are a lot of social media websites that you can go on and people can bully you. So since everything online, you can never fully delete it. I think that if we have some sort of proof, we can get rid of the bullying and just get rid of it.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, Michael Schulman, Michael Mack, and Seth, if you can still hear, it's just, very courageous efforts by young people. And I have to tell you that this is one of those situations where, you look at what the youth is capable of, and I don't think we give enough credit to the youth. I think that, Michael brought up an interesting point with Seth and Les being kind of in between generations, and sometimes we don't give credit to the youth, and I'm not one of those people. I believe in the youth's ability to be more in touch with what's happening today than maybe those of us that are a little bit older. And I just find it fascinating how strong you guys are, that you're willing to take a stand and really step up to the plate when there are a lot of adults that just don't feel that courage. So very good stuff there. And again, if you want to join us on Pawn Talk Live, all you have to do is pick up the phone, make a hands-free phone call if you are driving, and give us a buzz at 257-5396, 257-KDWN. We do have Michael Mack on the line with us, fourth-generation pawnbroker, so no pawn question is too big and no pawn question is too small. Now, Michael, Mac, bringing you back into the program here, obviously working with Girl Scout Troop 41 and promoting Valentine's Day, even though you're not going to be able to be here today, tomorrow, the next couple of days, what would you like to see folks really do to get involved outside of just shopping to promote Girl Scouts and help the community?
Well, Dave, I am so proud of our community. When I hear a young lady like Asia speak so eloquently about what her efforts are and, bringing to the forefront bullying and we are, we really should be proud. We hear a lot of things about how the youth today aren't as involved in the community. And this is just really, I'm gleaming from cheek to cheek. I'm so proud of Asia and the whole Girl Scout Troop 41. And I'm just, thrilled to be part of a small piece of helping out the Girl Scouts and whatever efforts we can at selling Girl Scout cookies through our Valentine's Drive just makes me gleam. Like I say, I'm a proud person in Asia. I'm really proud of you. I would give you a big hug if I was there.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael's heartstrings get pulled very easily, especially by kids like yourself who are really out there trying to do so much. And, Michael Schulman, let me ask you a question here. When you look at 2014 and the efforts that are being put out there on a mass media, kind of a platform, and even grassroots here from the children about anti-bullying. How much do you think you would have benefited from that, say, 25, 30 years ago when you were going through school?
I was very fortunate in that I used humor as a way to get around being bullied, and was very fortunate that all of my friends were the jocks and older people when I was in school. That said, there are wonderful programs like Characters Unite on USA that have gotten everyone from Carly Rae Jepsen to the cast of Modern Family involved.
Yeah.
And wonderful things.
Absolutely.
So it's really nice to see across the board people taking the initiative and counteracting bullying wherever possible.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to have to take a quick look at traffic again here on Pawn Talk Live when we come back. More with Asia from Girl Scout Troop 41, Michael Schulman, Michael Mack, and myself. Stay tuned.
Need some good advice during tough times? Yes! Every weekday at 9 a.m., News Talk 720 KDWN has Las Vegas legal experts taking your calls and answering your questions free. Get back on track with KDWN's Legal Hour. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. Only on News Talk 720 KDWN, where locals come to talk. 50,000 watts of power. News Talk 720. KDWN. Always updated, always online. The latest news, traffic, and weather for Vegas at KDWN.com. KDWN Las Vegas, a Beasley Broadcast Group station.
AP Update. I'm Sandy Kozel. Today's gains on Wall Street are enough to give stocks a modest gain for the week, even after Monday's steep loss. The Dow gained 165 points today, with investors finding bright spots in the government's monthly jobs report. PNC Bank Chief Economist Stuart Hoffman questions the strength of the economy, though.
There were a few bright spots in the report, but there's no question you got to dig a little underneath the headline disappointment to find a few silver linings. Doesn't take away the sort of the dark cloud of a second straight month of disappointing gain in jobs.
Only 113,000 added. Still, the jobless rate dropped to 6.6%, and President Obama likes that.
Our unemployment rate is now the lowest it's been since before I was first elected. The companies across the country are saying they intend to hire even more folks in the months ahead.
AP Update. I'm Sandy Kozel.
The news brought to you by Subway. Value is always on the menu at Subway, and this February you'll find two crowd favorites as the featured values. Try the classic meatball marinara topped with melty mozzarella as the featured $5 footlong, or the better-for-you oven-roasted chicken as the $3 6-inch select. Subway, eat fresh.
2:32 on the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. This football brought to you by First Option Mortgage. Couple of problems on the freeways right now. Southbound 95, that's south of Horizon in the early stage. The Beltway, westbound 215, that's east of Windmill. Southbound Decatur, that's south of the 215 in the cleanup phase. And a new incident with injuries, a gate at Las Vegas Boulevard. For the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
First Option now has a program that eliminates your monthly mortgage insurance payment, even if you only have 5% equity or down payment. Call First Option Mortgage today at 669-5400.
Luxury shops in Las Vegas aren't new. What is new, however, is luxury meeting value. At the world-famous Max Pawn, we specialize in marrying the two. With some of the finest selections of watches, designer handbags, sunglasses, and more, the luxury never stops. Every day, new items are added in-store and online. From Gucci and Chanel to Hermes and Louis Vuitton, Max Pawn delivers all the top luxury brands at a fraction of the price. Visit us online at maxpawnlv.com or browse our showroom in Las Vegas. The world-famous Max Pawn, where luxury meets value.
It's NASCAR season. Stop by the Miller Lite display at your local Rebel Oil convenience store and gas station. Register to win one of 5 ultimate NASCAR VIP experiences. You could be on track for pre-race festivities, attend the driver's meeting, take a ride in the official pace car, sit in the VIP suite, and have access to the Neon Garage, or be in the winner's circle for the trophy presentation. Just register to win at the Miller Lite display inside any local Rebel convenience store and gas station for your chance to win. Thanks to Miller Lite.
Attention taxpayers, if you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, it's a fact that they have the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, and even your freedom. If you've received a letter from the IRS, don't ignore it. Your problem will only continue to get worse. Here's the good news. The IRS has recently released new programs geared at helping struggling taxpayers, where you may now qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe, including penalties and interest. Or you may qualify for other special programs. If you're being audited, have years of unfiled tax returns, have a federal tax lien, or worse yet, are being issued a wage garnishment or bank levy, listen carefully. Authority Tax Services expert staff of ex-IRS agents, attorneys, and CPAs can immediately protect you from IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. Call 800-239-3837. That's 800-239-3837. 800-239-3837.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. And I want to thank Cadillac Jack for jumping into studio here with us and donning the prize wheel around. He gave Asia a couple of great CDs. So thanks so much to our 102.7 The Coyote APD and music director Cadillac Jack. Of course, tune in to them in the afternoons. Get all your country music. Get your fixed up. Now, Asia, how cool is this? You walk in here, you get interviewed on the radio, you're selling boxes of cookies through really smart businessmen like Michael Mack, and now you've got some more presents. Isn't that fun?
This is awesome. It's a really good experience.
Beasley Broadcasting is probably the nicest radio company in the whole world, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think so, too. Great stuff. And again, if you want to join us on Beasley Broadcasting here, Pawn Talk Live, all you have to do is pick up the telephone and give us a buzz at 257-5396, 257-KDWN. We do have fourth-generation pawnbroker Michael Mack on the line with us. And Michael, obviously, talking to Asia, she was able to recount Oath once again. And if you're just tuning in, Girl Scout Troop number 41, Asia, and some of her friends have come up with Oath, which is One Act Today Heals. That is just such an incredible concept, and we want to be behind it as much as possible here, both on Live Las Vegas and on Pawn Talk Live. Now, Michael, obviously your kids are just a bit older here than Asia, but are your boys as proactive in some of these extracurricular type of social initiatives as young Asia here?
Well, I'll tell you what, I wish they were. They are involved, and they do have community involvement through their school, Bishop Gorman. They're required to put so much time in every year, each year. And I think it's so important that, we all do give back. And that's why I'm so excited to be attached to Troop 41 at the Girl Scouts. And any time a business can get involved and give back, I believe it pays you dividends, not financially, but in your heart.
Absolutely. And Michael, of course, is a really big supporter of local charities here in Las Vegas, local schools. Now, Michael, you also are one of the flagship sponsors of Cashman Middle School, and you do so much to really help donate towards their at-risk families. Now, coming up for Valentine's Day, though, Michael, what kinds of things could somebody on a pretty tight budget come away with at Max Pawn that would really help make the day great anyway? So, if you've only got $40-50, what could you get at Max Pawn that might make that special someone really, really think this is great?
Dave, we have a whole new line of Swiss and Italian. It's a combination of Swiss watch company that came out with an Italian line of handbags, wallets, belts, starting at $350 retail that we are starting. We have a huge closeout price on these items starting at $29.
Wow.
Brand new in the box. Beautiful items, wallets, handbags, briefcases, laptop cases. So we really have something for everyone. And, at Max Pawn, we have silver jewelry starting at $29. We really can fit any budget.
Yeah, absolutely you can. And I just like to hear, some of the specific items. Again, if you're just tuning into Pawn Talk Live wondering, what are we hearing? How are we hearing this? We're talking with the owner of the world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas, Michael Mack, talking about some of the great deals that they do have down at Max Pawn. And again, if you're hearing Pawn Store, you tend to get a certain idea. And Michael, you and I both know this, and that's why we've been doing Pawn Talk Live for the last 3 years, is really informing folks what the difference is in pawn stores and what the difference is in your pawn store. So when we're giving the picture to folks out here and say they're high-end shoppers, somebody that Michael Schulman may have known, we have to set the stage properly. This is a 6,000 square foot building, extremely well lit, gorgeous merchandise all the way around, and an extremely friendly staff. I mean, Michael, your staff goes out of their way to be as knowledgeable about all the products in store and as friendly to all the customers as possible. That's really been your big staple, hasn't it?
Absolutely. You know, Dave, really we are very fortunate to have some of the best pawn stores in the United States right there in Las Vegas. And, you know, so competition is at the forefront. But, you know, we all handle business pretty much in the same manner. We try to treat our people fairly. You know, when you need money, you don't feel good about yourself. And so we try to make people feel as good as possible in the situation they're in. And then on the flip side, if you're looking for something and you're looking to stretch your dollar for a purchase, there's nothing better than a nice pre-loved item that looks like new.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had some wonderful experience at Max Pawn, and just to give you one afternoon's example, I got an antique Gucci desk clock, a Chanel handbag for my mom, a Jimmy Choo handbag for my stepmother, 2 antique jade bangles that were carved, a pair of Christian Louboutin sneakers for myself, and a bunch of other stuff. And it was just like shopping in a boutique with exquisite service.
Michael,
very friendly.
This is why you're on the show with us here. You know more about Michael Mack stuff than even maybe Michael Mack does.
I think he does. He can give a historical background on each item.
No, it's fantastic. And again, I mean, I've been working with you, Michael, here on Pawn Talk Live for the last 3 years, and it really has taken me aback so many times throughout our working history to see what it is that you do to really help folks in need, and especially around times of holidays, Valentine's Day, Christmases. These are the times when folks can really feel down about themselves if they can't afford necessarily the same things as the Joneses, so to speak. And at Max Pawn, you're able to level that playing field with, as Michael Schulman eloquently pointed out, some of the world's finest materials at some of the lowest prices, and that's really just such a testimony to how you guys have worked. Now, Michael, we do have a call on the line here. We're going to have to open up the phone line. This is Asia, I believe, or a question for Asia. Having a little trouble seeing what that is here. It's Asia's mother. Asia's mother is joining us on the line here. Thank you so much for calling us in on Pawn Talk Live. Now, let me ask you, how wonderful do you think your daughter Asia has done here today with us on the radio?
Oh, I think she's doing an amazing job, and she's very brave to fill in last minute.
Yes, she is.
We're very happy to have her on, and she's done a great job. And as our caller, we're going to give you an autographed book from Les from Hardcore Pawn. It's a
awesome.
New York Times bestseller, so thanks for calling in.
I thought you were going to offer her a box of Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, I was going to. She might have.
Don't offer me any cookies. I have more cookies than I know what to do with.
Well, now let's spend a moment with you, and I'm sorry because I can't see your name here on the screen, but being that you are the proud mother here of such a wonderful young lady, tell us a little bit as a parent what it means to you to have your daughter involved in Girl Scout, but especially in Girl Scout Troop number 41, who sound like they're doing so much for so many people.
Troop 41 really has done a lot for their community, and we're all so very proud of them. And they're working on their Oath Award, or the Silver Award, which is called Oath, that she spoke to you a little bit about. And it's going to be an amazing event. It's in October, and the girls that are working with her are really doing a great job putting it together.
It's fantastic, and it goes without saying that none of this is possible without the support of terrific parents like yourself, who I now see that you are named Valerie. Valerie, thank you so much for calling us today, and it really is great to see such fine young people out here doing the work that we know is going to lay the foundation for a much better future ahead. And when we can combine, technology with some of the heartstrings that we're pulling on all around the world these days, I think the future is very bright, especially with folks like Asia here, who are going to be taking us into the next millennium. So great stuff. And Valerie, thank you very much for calling us today. Great to hear from you as well.
Thank you. You're doing a great job. I love you.
You got to say thanks to Mom. I don't think she was talking to me.
She's talking to me, Dave.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry, Michael.
Bye, Asa.
Bye.
And don't forget, Michael's newly engaged, so that love was only going to young Asia here, as we had predicted. Now, Michael, again, coming back here, the Valentine's Day sale, any purchase over $20 down at Max Pawn gets a free box of Girl Scout cookies. And how did you come up with this idea? Was this something that Girl Scout Troop 41 proposed to you, Mike, or was this something that you went out and looked for?
Well, actually, Jade did a presentation. It was Troop 41 came up with the idea of reaching out to businesses in the Valley. I think one of the companies was Zappos and Downtown Project, and I was included. My sister-in-law, Dawn Mack, who is one of the leaders of this group, headed this up, and they reached out to me and asked if I would take a presentation from Jade. Jade had a presentation regarding the Girl Scout cookies and how it possibly could tie into my business. So she came and she did a wonderful PowerPoint presentation and showed me that by giving Girl Scout cookies away to my employees or to potential customers, that I could stir more business and maybe motivate my customers and my employees by feeding them Thin Mints.
Absolutely true in all cases.
Well, not a bad idea, but I said, let's take this and turbocharge it. And I said, we have a Hispanic radio show that we have on Wednesdays on KRLV. The girls did a presentation on Wednesday. And I said, we have Live in Las Vegas. That's every Friday from 1 to 2 on KDON. And then followed by Pawn Talk Live at 2 to 3 on KDON. And we're going to put that on the radio, and we're going to sell some cookies. I'm going to have every sale over $20. We're going to give a box away. And I said, well, how many cookies can we start with? And she said, well, we can probably get you 20, 30. I said, I need 100 bucks.
And I'm sure that made the day of everybody at Girl Scout Troop 41, including Asia and, of course, Jade. Now, we got to step away, Michael. Take our last look at traffic here on Pawn Talk Live. When we come back, wrapping up the biggest stories this week from around the fashion world, stay tuned to Pawn Talk Live.
It's 2:45 in the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center. Got a new incident at the Spaghetti Bowl, 95 northbound, that's south of the 15. Also, as vehicles are merging on to Interstate 15 southbound from 95, you're seeing a lot of bunching there of vehicles. 215 westbound, that's east of Windmill on the Beltway. Decatur south of the 215, that's in the cleanup stage. And a bad accident with injuries, a gate at Las Vegas Boulevard. For the Kid on One Nevada Credit Union Traffic Center, I'm Jim Dallas on News Talk 720 KDWN.
When it's go time, when it's time to put the pedal to the metal, NASCAR drivers and Baja 1000 drivers alike both trust the legendary performance and reliability of Goodyear tires. And now Vegas drivers can get that same performance and reliability on their own cars and trucks, because Ted Weens now carries the full line of world-class Goodyear tires. Goodyear Eagle tires, Goodyear Wrangler tires, all mounted by real ASE certified mechanics for when it's your go time, because Ted Weens really does care. The slightly obsessive ASE certified mechanics at Ted Weens are now carefully mounting Goodyear Eagle tires on deserving cars and Goodyear Wrangler tires on some lucky trucks. In fact, Ted Weens, that place you see all over town, now carries the full line of world-class Goodyear car and truck tires. So if you live in Las Vegas and you want the quality and performance Goodyear tires are famous for, well, now you know where to go find them. Ted Weens, because we really do care.
Join Laith Lavada of First Prime Realty Group every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. on 720 KDWN as he takes your calls and answers all of your questions and concerns about the real estate market in Las Vegas.
Hi, John Dean from the Brain Trust here for the RJL Wealth Management Bucket Strategy Retirement Workshop coming to Las Vegas Saturday, February 8th. This free event will teach you the importance of having a customized plan for investing in retirement. You'll learn the difference between dollar cost averaging and reverse dollar cost averaging. Learn the strategy designed to integrate income sources and potentially maximize Social Security. The Bucket Strategy is a flexible plan that can prepare you for inflation or deflation and stresses asset location as much as asset allocation. The free RJL Wealth Management Bucket Strategy Retirement Workshop, Saturday, February 8th at the Renaissance Hotel. RSVP by calling 800-644-1150. That's 800-644-1150, or register at bucketstrategy.com. That's bucketstrategy.com.
The strategy involves investment subject to risks, fees, and expenses. Securities offered through Lucia Securities, LLC, member FINRA SIPC, and affiliate of RJL Wealth Management, LLC. John Dean is not affiliated with RJL Wealth Management or Lucia Securities.
Hi, this is Michael Mack, owner of world-famous Max Pawn in Las Vegas. You ever wondered what those valuables are worth? Had a pawn question but didn't know who to ask? I have the solution for you. Join me and Dave Carney every Friday from 2 to 3 for Pawn Talk Live here on News Radio 720 KDWN.
Now back to Pawn Talk Live with your hosts Michael Mack and Dave Carney.
And welcome back to Pawn Talk Live here on News Talk 720 KDWN. Dave Carney joined by Michael Schulman in studio. Asia from Girl Scout Troop number 41. And joining us from the D, doing the big thaw event out there with our friends the Golds at Hardcore Pond, Michael Mack. And Michael coming back in here with Michael Schulman, and we've got a bit of fashion news we'd like to talk about here. Yes, you're still with us, Michael Schulman. Now, Michael Schulman, you have got some interesting news coming out of the Target camp. What is Target launching here?
Well, Target has launched a collection with London-based fashion designer Peter Pilotto and his partner Christopher DeVos, and you have probably seen the commercials on television lately. They're very bright and colorful patterns put together with swimwear and eyewear and dresses, and it launches on February 9th, which might be today. Is that today?
That's Sunday.
Sunday.
Yep.
And the music is very upbeat. It's disco, emphasizing the return of disco once again, using Sylvester's You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. And the collection is fun, it's colorful, it's upbeat, and it speaks to the right now, which is what Target's design collaborations are very good at.
Now, Michael Schulman, Michael Mack, obviously in Asia. Not sure how much you know about this, but we all recall around the Christmas holiday here before Black Friday, Target's system was compromised to a great deal, and they were unfortunately the victim of being lifted about 40 million different account numbers from pins. Michael Mack, first of all, do you think a move like this, what Michael was just talking about, helps reestablish Target on some positive footing and take the focus off of that just unbelievably bad PR they got around Christmas?
Well, it's just so unfortunate what happened internally with Target. It sounded like a disgruntled former employee, but, espionage at the highest level within their system and the integrity of all their card holders and people who have done business. But, aside from that, Target is such a cool company, and they're always coming out with great lines. Our good friend Nate Berkus has a line, and new line just came out this week, and this line that comes out. Michael Schulman, you have got to be, as a fashion guy, for a big box, what a cool company. And, they have you walk their aisles, there's great items every day in their aisles.
Oh, they've worked with the best. Whether it's Philippe Stark or Kareem Rashid in design, Todd Oldham and Nate Berkus and Jonathan Adler in home accessories, and in fashion, everybody. And what's very interesting about this Peter Pilotto collection is that it's being done in conjunction with Net-a-Porter.com, so that Target's brand is actually being seen internationally now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's a cool company because it's from Minnesota. Now, when I went back to Minneapolis last year, I had no idea how many cool things are from Minneapolis, and I think that's what keeps them cool. Is that whole vibe? It's sort of hippie, but yet sort of business-like.
Well, Target was actually a division of the Dayton Hudson Corporation.
Oh.
And what happened is Target became the big ticket in the company, so it was rebranded as Target Incorporated.
Gotcha.
But it was part of Dayton Hudson.
Interesting stuff here. See, this is the backstory, Michael Mack, that we can only get from somebody like Michael Schulman here, a true fashion and industry expert. Now, Michael Schulman can be followed, pontificated about, and maybe even comments posted for you at schulmansays.com. Do you allow comments to be posted at Schulman Says?
I encourage comments.
Okay, so if you have been listening to this show and you're thinking, what is this
Except
guy
for my
talking
mother.
about? Oh, yeah, your mother's blocked. All the time. You just can't have it. It's like on Facebook. You can't have your mom as a friend. But you go to schulmansays.com. Feel free to check around some of Michael's, really cool stories. Now, Michael, at schulmansays.com, you like to basically put a spin on all that's happening in the world of fashion and entertainment. What can we look forward to coming up here on schulmansays.com? Do you have anything else new launching, any new features?
Yes, there's going to be a jewelry story coming out of the Jewelry Couture and Centurion shows, focusing on blues as the pivotal color coming up this season. And not just sapphires, but everything from lapis to turquoise and the earth stones to iolite, tanzanite, blue spinel, blue tourmalines. Blue is everywhere. And it works great from blue jeans to the blue jean Birkin.
That's right.
Hey, Michael Schulman, I got a quick question. Yesterday was the launch of Fashion Week. What's the buzz happening around Fashion Week in New York?
Weather sucks.
Well, I'm part of that right here. We had minus 20 in Detroit this morning. But
and actually, that's a common theme throughout Fashion Week every year. It's always at the worst time for weather. I don't go unless I'm helping a friend work on the show anymore. It's just misery. But the reviews have been very good so far, and I've just briefly perused them, but everybody seems to have a lot of excitement coming out of their first shows.
Well, that's great news.
It's good to see that the weather, though, did everybody a favor and passed us over Super Bowl weekend. I mean, the calamity that would have ensued if the nation's biggest holiday, and I do mean Super Bowl Sunday, would have had to have been moved to a Monday. And I mean, I was originally thinking, how is everybody going to take off Monday and Tuesday now? I mean, you can't do that. So fortunately, the weather passes over and goes into Fashion Week, but you can do that inside, right? I mean, that's more of an engagement where you want to get in there, you want to show off your nice shoes. You don't be slushing around outside, right? It's inside fun.
You know, they missed it by hours, actually.
They did.
Because by the following day, there were 4 inches of snow on the ground in New York. And my father called from Japan and said, you know, the Super Bowl here, Super Bowl Sunday was on Monday. I said, Dad, that means it was Super Bowl Monday.
That's right.
And, yeah, it kind of takes it out of context when it's not then.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, just thinking about something, you know, something so, you know, neat and you know, fun like Fashion Week. But if that was being done, let's say in Los Angeles, do you think everybody would just have more fun, Michael? I mean, it's 70 degrees.
No, there is something inextricable with American fashion in the city of New York.
Okay.
And for instance, they tried moving Project Runway to Los Angeles because the guest judges would have been celebrities and so on.
Sure.
And you know what? After one season,
Didn't
the
work.
Weinstein brothers and Heidi Klum were back in New York.
Yeah.
When it comes to fashion, you have New York, Milan, London, Paris, not necessarily in that order, but you won't start seeing British Fashion Week in Brixton, and you won't start seeing French Fashion Week in Normandy. They're going to stay in London and Paris.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I guess it makes sense. I'm just always making an appeal for
because
the West
you know
Coast.
What? That's where
I
the
don't like to
fashion
travel that
schools
far.
are. That's where the designers have their ateliers, and that's just how that cookie crumbles.
Absolutely. Well, you know, talking about another, you know, piece of fashion history here, Michael, you have taken in some of the coolest things probably ever. You know, tell us a little bit, Michael, about the cane that Colonel Parker had in here, because, you know, I want to use that to beat fashion out of people. You've gotten so many cool things. When did you acquire this cane?
You know, we do take items in consignment, Dave, and a lot of people have listened to our show. From our previous show on CBS to moving over to Kadon, we have people each day come in with items of interest, and sometimes we cannot afford to pay the people for those items, and so we agree to a consignment price where our clients actually receive more money than we could actually pay outright. So this item in particular was Colonel Parker, as you know, was Elvis's manager, and a high-profile manager as he was, and a big man. And he, in his later days, had to use a cane because he had a bad walk. And so this is the actual cane that Colonel Parker used with the provenance and all the authenticity that goes with it, with photos to prove that it was his cane as well.
Yeah, and I like to
have that on display.
I like to say it's a piece of fashion because in all the real seminal late pictures of Elvis Presley and Colonel Tom Parker, you would see him holding this cane in his hand, and I've mentioned here maybe once or twice on the show, he used that cane to beat the royalties out of numerous musicians. Very, very important in history.
That's actually not that far from the truth. Dolly Parton told a very interesting story once that when she first left Porter Wagoner and wrote I Will Always Love You, that Elvis wanted to record the song. And she was thrilled. She's like, oh, my God, as a beginning songwriter, this is amazing. So she met with Colonel Parker, and he informed her that when Elvis sings your song, they acquire the publishing rights. And she said, you know what? These songs are my babies. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It might be the end of me. Well, she goes, you know what? I was kicking myself for decades, and then that lovely Whitney Houston came along.
That's right.
And sang that song and is putting my great-great-great-grandbabies through college. So thank you, Whitney Houston. Thank you anyways, Colonel Parker. But there's a Colonel Parker story for
there,
you.
You know, and there you go. And so what Dolly Parton did is she paid homage to Elvis by creating something even more grotesque than Graceland called Dolly World or something like that.
Dollywood.
Dollywood. Oh, my gosh. It's
Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Unbelievable. All right, guys, this has been a great show here on Pawn Talk Live. Michael Mack, we'll see you next week. Michael Schulman, thanks for coming in. Asia from Girl Scout Troop 41. And, of course, all of our callers and listeners, thanks so much. We'll see you guys next week here on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Are you one of many looking to take advantage of the hot Las Vegas real estate market? I'm Justin Goodman with Majestic Properties, here with Joshua of Federal Savings Bank.
Joshua Coomer here. Federal Savings Bank is a veteran-owned and operated FDIC-insured bank with a focus on educating you, our customer. Call and ask about our no closing cost promotion.
My attorneys and processing team have closed over 1,000 short sale transactions successfully at absolutely no cost to you ever. I will also list your traditional sale for only 1%.
Call 380-2300. That's 380-2300.
The Federal Savings Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. Rates and terms may vary. Subject to underwriting approval. NMLS number 411500.
Shore and the voice of the Las Vegas Wranglers, Dave Carney. Join us for the best that Las Vegas has to offer. Entertainment, sports, dining, and nightlife. Live in Las Vegas. Tune in every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. on News Talk 720 KDWN.
Hi, this is Connie Rhodes with the Amazing Pet Expos here for the Las Vegas Pet Expo taking place on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Cashman Center. It is free to get in with your pets. They do need to be vaccinated, and there's all sorts of vendors and activities, including famous Shorty Rossi and Hercules. There is a mega adoption area at the Pet Expo. So if you're looking to adopt, this is the place to be. The Las Vegas Pet Expo taking place on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Cashman Center.